that will make it effective, right? It's how it affects your life, and you know, you become like a mirror in the sense that what you take in, you reflect back to others, right? So it's important to always reflect on how does the Bible influence your life, right? Because it's by this influence that you are then able to influence other people, right? According to the Great Commission, we are supposed to go out and preach the word, the good news, right? If you don't have the word in you, it's impossible, right? Am I right? Right? If you pour gasoline in a container, you can't get water out of it, right? Okay. So throughout, I mean, last week we were talking about what's your concept of the Bible, and I asked you to reflect a bit on that for the week. What is your concept of the Bible and how the Bible has influenced your life? But you must be able to see that. You must be able to know that. Otherwise, there's no clarity. Am I correct? Yeah. Right? So if you don't have a concept of the Bible, then it means that you have more to learn if you're interested. Correct? Right? And the Bible must have had some influence in your life. Because if you're sitting here today, no matter how small that influence is, the Bible must have had some influence. Right? Hopefully it's a positive influence and not a negative. But it doesn't matter. Right? There must be some influence of the Bible. Am I correct? Alright? So when you study the Bible, you must always be reflecting on, you must have a base to start. What is your concept? Do I need to change my concept of the Bible? Right? Has the Bible a positive influence on my life? Was there a negative influence on my life? How do I need to change? Right? So that I could influence others in the way that it was meant for me to influence them. Right? Now, it would be unfair for me to ask you to go out and teach something if you do not know what it is you need to teach. Can Sister Alice teach somebody to sew if she cannot sew? If she has no concept of sewing? No. She could have the theoretical knowledge and teach, or she could have the practical knowledge and teach. But she must have some sort of experience in sewing to be able to transfer that knowledge. Am I talking sense? Yeah. Right? So if we are to go out and share the good news, what is the good news? Where is the good news? Where can it be found? Right? And so where is the good news found? In the Bible. So if we have no concept of the Bible, we don't know what the Bible is, or we don't know the contents of the Bible, as old people say, we spitting top in mud. Right? And not only that, we could be using our experiences, our dreams and so, to try to teach someone without actual knowledge. And that could be disastrous. You can imagine somebody trying to build a house, let's say a carpenter, trying to build a boat shack as we do in the Caribbean. And they have no knowledge of what a saw is or a hammer, right? You can imagine trying to build a house without a plan, without a drawing, not even though it exists in your head, it still exists, right? Okay? So the Bible acts as that teaching tool, teaching aid. It also acts as the plan that we could use to implement or to conduct or to engage in or to do as we are instructed to go out and to share the word. Right? Okay, so the Bible is like the manual. And comprehensive manual for everything, right? Every genre of literature you could think about, even modern genres, right? Thrillers, drama, right? Romance, anything you want. There's violence in the Bible. You might be surprised, right? You might say, oh, well, people might say, oh, we're watching TV and TV had too much violence. But there are a lot of violence in the Bible. It have sex in the Bible, right? It have grand tales of stories of like the Exodus, right? Jesus journeying from one location to the next, preaching epics, as we say, right? So the Bible has everything that we as Christians could possibly need. And I do believe that, you know, when we I don't want to say fall in love, but when we become interested in, let's say, a series on TV, we try to get home on time to see that, or if we can't get home in time, we DVR it, record it, or next day we ask our friend, what happened last night, right? We show interest, right? We need to know everything that goes on. So we take the time off to spend learning about it, right? Okay. So it's important that you keep reflecting on the Bible, how the Bible affects your life, how it influences your life. Because your experience in the Bible will be different from mine. Remember last week I was telling you about this guy that was in prison and he was given a Bible, and what he was using the Bible for? Right. He was not using the Bible. He was using the Bible to roll cigarettes. Right? But as we said, God had a plan for him, because one day when he was get to this page to tear it to roll a cigarette, there was a message for him which turned his life around. So it doesn't matter if he was burning the rest of the Bible, that one message was for him. Okay? Now, I gave you also a passage to read which would have emphasized the importance of the word. Right? It says, happy are all who perfectly follow the laws of God. Where can the laws of God be found? In the Bible. Happy are all who search for God and always do His will. How? Where do we find the will of God? In the Bible. Rejecting compromise with evil and walking only in His path. You have given us your laws to obey. Where are the laws of God contained? In the Bible. Okay, so this verse is sort of like a sort of plan or a sort of indication on what we can use the Bible for. True?
Yes.
Okay, in the bottom it says, how can a young man stay pure? And remember who was writing? Right? And he says, and he answers the question by reading your word and following its rules. It's as simple as that. By reading your word and following its rules. Okay? So I've tried my best to find you. Don't let me wander off from your instructions. Right? So there are instructions, right?
Yes.
And what are instructions there for? To be followed. Right? If you were given instruction to do something and you do something that is different, what would happen? You would not achieve the desired goals. Right? Am I right?
Yes.
And you could even, you might stumble onto a great discovery, but most times when you don't follow instructions, you end up with disaster. True?
Yeah.
Right? If you're given a recipe to make a cake, for example, and instead of using flour, sorry, I'll make it easy. Instead of using sugar, use salt. What do you think is going to happen? Right? And I've seen it happen. Somebody makes up the sugar for the salt, and I tell you it was disaster. But the purpose of instruction is so that you can get it right. Okay? You might not always get it right. But through practice, okay? Because I told my mom could make cuckoo real good. And I say, Mom, show me how to make cuckoo. Right? So she showed me how to make the cuckoo. I recorded. She told me word of mouth. I recorded. I go home, I go by myself and I try to make cuckoo. And I follow her instructions exactly. And no way my cuckoo could come out like hers, right? But through practice, I get a little close to what she does, right? I still haven't mastered it yet. But what I'm saying is that you might not get the instructions correct or right as soon as you started, but through repetition, right, and application of the instructions, right, and only how you can accomplish this is by studying it, right? Most of us are not born with that ability where we can just read something and we get it right, so it sticks in our head. That's why it's called study. When you went to school and you doing the math and the English and the different topics, different subjects, you have to study. The teacher didn't go to the class and teach you this thing and then you get it immediately, right? And then you get a test sometime a few weeks after and you ace the test by not studying. You have to study. Am I talking sense here? Okay? So the Word of God is the same, and the Word of God is 66 books. Trust me, you have one book in math or English, and you have to study so much. Fathers, 66 books. Remember that the books have different genres, they address different things also, right? So remember, you have to keep that in mind. When you study the book, there will be different purposes for different books. There will be different set of instructions. Some books cover the law, some give you history, which is like a background. And that's one of the important things. When you read in the Pastor Brown would always tell you, you have to take the context. What was happening then? Right? And then as you go along, you will see how then you apply it to your situation. Okay? So let's move on quickly. And we'll just run through this. This is a recap of what we did last week. Right? We said that the Word of God is a person. The Bible is a personal word from God. And personal means you're applying to yourself, right? Okay, the Bible gives us moral for our lives. And we said the moral is like an anchor, which no matter what happens, we still have some points of reference that we can come back to. Alright? The Bible is God's personal love letter to His children. Everybody knows a love letter. You profess love for someone. And remember, bear in mind the different types of love. Right? The Bible reveals the character of God. So it tells us how God is, how God behaves. Right? The Bible gives us reasonable explanation of creation and the origin of mankind. Genesis, right? In the beginning, God created heaven and earth. Right? And I think in 1 John, it says, in the beginning was the Word. The Word is always there. St. John, yes. Right? The Bible explains the reason for human suffering and evil behavior. Remember that Adam brought sin into the world, and we had this big discussion last week on freedom of choice. I can't give you freedom of choice and then be responsible for your action. Right? If I give you freedom of choice and you accept it, then you have to also accept responsibility for your actions. Am I making sense?
Yes.
Right? Otherwise, it wouldn't be freedom of choice. Okay? So, once we sin, once Adam sinned and God sinned into this world, then man is responsible for his actions, his sins. Right? And the Bible contains the story of our Savior. We know Jesus came into this world to die. And I always like to emphasize that it's not dying by itself. He died, was buried, and then he rose again. So you cannot have one isolated from the other. Otherwise it makes no sense. Because he didn't really die per se. Right? Understand what I'm saying? But we have a series of events that come together to illustrate God's love for us. So Christ didn't die and remain dead. Alright? Okay. So, why study the Word of God? That might sound like a stupid question. Why study the Word of God? Right? Why? Anybody want to tell me why you want to study the Word of God?
Just like what you said, if you want to use it, like the road map, it's our road map. If we are going someplace, you have to know where you're going to go. It is our, like you said, the word, it cleanses us, divert. Something you give in a reference to the word cleansing. We have to know what it is, because if you don't study, what you said is like making the cake. If you don't know the recipe,
Right.
you can always hit and miss, and you can miss more time than you hit.
We need to study the Word of God. Put it simply, we need to know the Word of God. And to know the Word of God, we have to study it. Now, study implies that you are taking something in, you are digesting it, well, not in the normal sense of the word, but you're taking it, you're trying to understand, you break it down, and remember that is your understanding, Your understanding is not my understanding. You might have an insight into something that I have a totally different insight, right? I remember I was teaching a class when I was teaching back in Caribbean, and I was teaching them something in math. And I could not explain. I did not have a simple explanation for a concept. I could only think of the highfalutin explanation. And one little girl stood up, and she was able to explain it to the class very simply. I was amazed. You know, and I keep thinking, yes. And I keep thinking, how to explain this to the children? This complicated concept. And she stood up and explained it so simple. I was like, so her insight is because of her experience, right? And my insight was because of my experience. And I might be able to understand it on one level, and she understood it on another level. Doesn't make my level better than hers, right? But the main thing is that she understood, and she was able to, and this is the kicker, she was able to pass it on to people along her level, right? I remember.
Because, even on my job, in the electrical department, I see these guys that are engineers. Of course, I don't even know what engineer if you are. But they're engineers, they're doing some stuff, and I said, why are you guys doing it? Okay, so you know how to do it. They said, well, I said, yes, let's do this.
Yes.
And then they said, oh, you know, I said, because I was born in the bushes in your
Yes. I remember a story about this man. He went to the church. He's a sailor, right? Sailor, he was well, educated, so he's a sailor. He went to the church he came on through, he went to church. And the preacher had his notes, and he was preaching away, and the poor guy was sitting. And then, for some reason, the wind came and blew away the preacher's notes. And he didn't have nothing, so he started preaching out of the top of his head. And after the service, the preacher, the sailor approached the preacher, and he said, good sermon, good sermon. He said, but I have to tell you something. The only time I understood what he's saying is after the wind blew away your notes. Right? Right? So that was his message, right? And sometimes we have to bear in mind that sometimes when we're talking to people, we have to be mindful of the audience that we're addressing, right? Some people like to show off and use big words. I always say a big word is just a complicated way of just illustrating a simple concept, right? I don't like to use big words, right? And even though I use a big word, it's because I can't find the next word to use, and then I try to break it down afterwards, right? Okay, so why we study the Word of God? Now, a study of God's Word contributes to your growth. Big time, right? Okay? Obedience to the teaching and command of the Bible result in joy and victory, right? But there's no obedience if you don't know what you're obeying. If I don't give you a command, or I don't give you instruction, then I come back and I'm punishing you because you didn't follow the instructions, then I'm being unjust.
Self-instruction with clarity. Go back to what you said.
Yeah. Okay? Now, when you know that you have accomplished something, this is joy, right? Anything, whether in the secular world or in your Christian life. When you achieve something, let's say you do a test and you get 95%, you're happy, right? Because you have followed instructions and you answered the question correctly. Same thing in your Christian walk, right? When you have accomplished something, when you have delivered the news, then there's joy, right? The Bible contributes to more vital witness for Christ. Okay? You read the Bible, right? You're able to witness to the goodness of God and love of Christ. Wouldn't you? Okay? Okay, so we continue here, right? Let's look at the study of God's Word, how it contributes to Christian growth. And we look at Psalm chapter 1, verse 1, and 1 to 3. And we're using the Living Bible, because it tends to say things, like just straightforward. And even the lie and the love, right? Things like that, right? So, all joy of those who do not follow evil men's advice, who do not hang around with sinners, scoffing or laughing, making fun at the things of God. And we know in the King James Version it says, blessed is a man that walketh not in the counsel of God. right? How do you know what God wants you to do? You have to read the Bible. And day and night are always meditating, thinking deeply, right, on his laws and thinking about ways to follow him more closely. So remember I said that, it's, you start at one level and you increase, right? You grow. And you can only grow by studying the word, right? You can only grow by studying the word. Now, if you have money and you want that money to grow, you need to invest it, right? There must be some investment. Whether it's you take the money and you open a business, but if you open a business, you have to put work into it, right? Or you put it in the bank and let somebody else take the money and do work with it and give you a piece of it. But some work must take place. It's the same thing with the Bible. There must be investment, and it must be your personal investment, because somebody cannot get saved for you, right? You have to be saved for yourself. And therefore the investment must be on your part. Am I making sense? Okay? Now, they are like trees along a riverbank, bearing luscious fruit each season without fail. Their leaves shall never wither, and all they do shall prosper. That's a nice idyllic setting, right? Trees by the river, bearing fruit, and they have nicely, but sometimes the river overflows banks, right? So there's always risk. As with investment, there's always risk. And sometimes, most times, generally, the greater the risk, the greater the reward. Right? So it doesn't mean that all your days you'll be just, by the river and everything will be prospering and everything, right? You have circumstances that you'd have to learn how to cope with, right? And where do you get that knowledge? Where do you get that knowledge? From the Word. Okay? Now, obedience to the teaching and command of the Bible results in joy and victory, right? We know for a believer to walk in the fullness and power of the Holy Spirit and radiate the love of Christ, he must spend time with God's Word. Right? He must. Okay? The Christian who saturates his mind with God's Word will want to please Him in every way, because that is the instruction in the Bible, right? You want to do what is right. Now there's a difference between wanting, and actually doing it. To do it, you'll have to keep practicing. When you fail, or if you fail, or if you didn't quite make the mark, you try it again. You go back, you revisit the instructions. Right? But if you try once, and nothing happened after that, what's going to happen? You have accepted failure. Failure is not when something doesn't go how you want it to go. Failure occurs when you stop trying to get it done the right way. So you might try something and it doesn't work. That's not failure. In my book, that's not failure. That's a setback. You try it again. Right? Failure is when you stop. If I had stopped trying to print this thing this morning, then that would have been failure. Trust me, I started strips and I say I ain't doing this thing again. Right? Because I had to cut the paper, try to paste it together, and then it started to get faded, and I said, this thing not working, I write it down. But then I got the message from the Spirit, just to listen, try it. The thing is black and white still. Right? It's black and white. But I photocopied in color, and I was able to get it to print. Right? Okay, so sometimes you don't give up. Keep trying. Right? And it's not, you seeking perfection, but we are humans. Right? We are humans. We are of the flesh. So, things would happen that, we would not, we seek the perfection, but I don't know when we're going to reach perfection. Maybe when we get to heaven. But as long as we are in this world, we'll be subject to the laws, the physical laws of this world. And it's only our mind, right? How do we perfect our mind? And Pastor always talked about that, how we perfect our mind. through the word. Okay? Okay, so let's go on while we study. So, I think I've speed up a bit. The Bible contributes to a more vital witness for Christ. You know, vital means alive, more, you're excited, right? If you don't know the word, you think you'll be excited? If I ask you a question about, Brother Keith, explain to me how a rocket engine works. Okay, you'll get my point, right? Now if I ask Brother Keith, how much ticket you gave last week? Now he can answer that question and he can answer it with vigor, right? If I say, give us the experience of the most difficult customer you had. You could describe that, right? If I say, Sister Alice, teach me how to make a roti. Right? If I say, Pastor, remember when you said, when you were coming to immigration and they make you to pray? That was a, well, I want to say mistake, but in local talk, that's the biggest mistake they could have made. Right? Because Pastor could pray. You understand? He has a passion. Sister Alice had a passion. Sister Maria has a passion. But Pastor Brown has a passion. Everybody has a passion for something. And if you engage somebody in what they have a passion for, then you get positive results. Now, if you have to be a vital witness for Christ, then you need to be passionate. And to be passionate, you must have the knowledge. Right? No, I'm not talking about perfect knowledge, right? I'm not talking about perfect knowledge. You could be, if I say, Sister Alice, go and update this, the virus protection on that computer. She would look at me, you're crazy, or what are you telling me? You understand? Okay? Okay? But if I ask her to do something she knows about, oh, that'll get done so fast, well done, everything, right? Because she has the knowledge, she has the passion for it. Okay? Now, the greatest spiritual harvest of all time is taking place today, right? Oh, I think I had a typo. Right? It's taking place today. We know that because with all the media, internet, radio, TV. So it's not that long ago when Jesus had to convert some people, he had to walk miles, right? And it's taken days to get there, right? Now we are reaching out to people on Facebook, right? So there's a harvest going on. People might be pessimistic and say, oh, people not converting people as they used to long ago. I don't believe that. It's a different method now. Different delivery, right? Okay, so that great, but you know, but this is happening through the distribution and teaching of God's word by faithful Christians who want to share good news. True?
Yes.
So where does faithful Christians get the instructions from? What are they distributing? And when we talk about distribution, we're just not talking about the physical Bible, paper Bible as we know, a traditional Bible. We're talking about in electronic form, like on the internet, right? You know, you could go to gateway.com, BibleGateway.com, and read the Bible. And the good thing about it is that you have explanations. You have references. You have okay, let's check this. Oh, this translation. Let's see what is translation. You know, the people who grew up in the Bible, traditional Bible, knows the King James version of the Bible and they could interpret it. I have problems interpreting the King James version of the Bible. So I like to go to the New Life or the NIV, right? But the fact is, I have resources. Okay? And if there were not faithful people putting these things together, preparing them, then if I don't have a paper Bible, then I'm in trouble. But mind you, there's still areas where people don't have access to these wonderful things, right? So we still have to distribute the paper Bibles, right? And Bible has been translated how many, a lot of languages, so so we could reach out to people in different areas, remote areas, where they've never heard of a television or they never had electricity or so, right? It's still important that we try to reach people in the corners of different corners of the world, right? That's why it's important for us to support the missionary ministry of the church, okay? Okay, now spending time daily, and I put daily in, right? With God's word, give us the knowledge, power, and the excitement to spread his message of love and forgiveness. Right? So, knowledge is power. So Francis Bacon said, knowledge itself is power. Right? And excitement. Now, when you know something, you're bubbling up to let somebody else know, right? If I know something that Pastor Brown doesn't know, I want to tell him. Right? I want to tell him, right? And that's the thing I always say about good news. Good news is not good news until you share it, you know. You understand? If I receive some news, if I receive I win $1 million in the lotto, and when I hear it, it's good news, right? Because somebody told me that I won it, right? When I go and tell Sister Maria, that it's even better news, right? And the more I spread it, the news get better and better, because it's a joy to share something like that. All right. So, by application, if we read the Bible and we get that good news, God loves you, Jesus died, rose again to conquer death on your behalf, right? In the beginning was the Word, right? The good news. We get that excitement because we now have that power to share that news. And if you are a Christian, sharing should come naturally, right? No, again, sharing is a personal thing. Some people have that gift to share, right? They might give away everything they have, right? You go by somebody wants to tell me you can know the difference between a rich person and a poor person. Because if you go by a rich man, he offer you a drink. If you go by a poor person, they offer you food. I want to go by poor people all the time. Right? Mom said that the capacity to share is different, right? So you cannot burden somebody with your concept of what sharing is. Right? Okay? Alright. So last week we talked about the Bible and the different genre of the Bible. I'm just going to skip through this quickly because, again, whenever you study the Bible, you have to bear the genre or the type of book that you're reading, right? For example, if you're reading Proverbs or Song of Solomon, these are poetic books, right? And the language might not be the same, you know. If I say, I feel like a dove today, you might say, but that's getting crazy, you think he's a bird? But just mean I probably meant to say, okay, I feel free, right? Free in spirit, right? But not because I feel like if I have feathers on my skin or something, so you can't take what I say literally. But I use similes, I use comparisons to generate or to let you know how I feel, right? So you have to be careful. They don't say that, go and say the Bible say that this character in the Bible was a bird and had feathers on the back because they say certain thing. You understand what I'm saying? So always bear in mind, right? The context. Otherwise you'll be confused, or you might, what's the word? You might be passing on faulty knowledge. Alright? And you have to be very careful of that. Okay, so there's law,